he was just so wonderful. I was just so honored to be his wife and to be able to be a part of it.
Kelly Rizzo has been speaking out about her grieving process ever since her late husband Bob Saget tragically passed away 2 years ago. But recently she started moving on in a truly unexpected way. It turns out that Kelly has been spending a lot of her time with her new man lately. The truth about her relationship status and how she decided she was ready to start dating again is absolutely shocking, so let's get into it. Believe it or not, Kelly recently confirmed that she's in a relationship with another actor, Breckin Meyer. According to E! News, the couple had silently announced their romance by holding hands on the red carpet together at a charity event hosted by Jeannie's Fund. Kelly revealed to E! News that it had actually taken her a while before she felt comfortable even thinking about dating again. In an October 2023 interview with Extra, Kelly explained that in the early stages of her grieving process, she was completely overwhelmed by guilt. She added that anytime she felt happy, she would automatically start feeling guilty that she wasn't constantly feeling sad. But what she said next was honestly crazy. Kelly mentioned that there had been enough time since Bob's passing for her to stop shaming herself whenever she felt happy. She also admitted that she was even open to the idea of dating again, and now it's clear that Kelly did decide to reignite her dating life. She's already in a new relationship with a new guy just 2 years after her husband tragically passed away. Kelly revealed in a TikTok a few years ago that when she and Bob first started dating, he had been the one to reach out to her first. She explained that in 2015, he sent her a message over social media and they ultimately ended up tying the knot in 2018. But does her recent decision to start dating again mean that the love she felt for Bob wasn't as strong or genuine as she once believed it to be? According to what a source told Us Weekly, in April 2022, Kelly was preparing to sell the house that she and Bob had shared, but her choice to sell their home only 3 months after his passing made it seem like she was moving on way too fast. Apparently, that couldn't have been further from the truth. Us Weekly reported that during Kelly's guest appearance on a March 2023 episode of The Tamron Hall Show, she explained the heartbreaking reason why she decided to sell the house. Kelly admitted that continuing to live in the home that used to be a positive place she and Bob shared together was too emotionally painful for her. She added that once she realized how difficult it was for her to stay there, she knew she needed to sell it. Even though Kelly and moving into a new house, she revealed that Bob was still very present in her life. She said that she had photos of him all over her home because she was determined to keep his memory alive. Since Kelly had to move into a new place because of how challenging it was for her to cope with the loss of her husband, her decision to start dating again couldn't have been easy. What eventually helped her to feel ready to start moving on was seriously unbelievable. Kelly previously mentioned in a September 2023 interview with the Daily Mail that she was grateful to have the support of Bob's friends and family members, but at the time, she didn't fully explain how significant that was to her grieving process. What she revealed 2 months later was really surprising. Last December, Kelly spoke to Fox News Digital about a specific emotional conversation that helped her start moving on from Bob's passing. She claimed that his 3 daughters had given her their blessing to get back into the dating pool, but that wasn't all. Kelly added that she never thought she needed anyone's permission to move on. She ultimately realized just how meaningful Bob's daughters' approval was to that process, and when they told her that they loved her and trusted her judgment, it was a very powerful moment. However, what they said after that was even more incredible to Kelly. She confessed that when Bob's daughters told her that their dad would have wanted her to be happy as well, it affected her more than she ever could have expected. Kelly explained that Bob's daughters knew him better than anybody else did, so when they told her that he would have wanted her to find love and happiness again with someone, it meant everything to her. She also mentioned that their constant support was one of the best gifts she'd ever been given. Kelly's stepdaughters are still an important part of her life. She revealed that the first Christmas after Bob passed away, his daughter Laura actually celebrated with her and her family in Chicago. It was a heartwarming way for all of them to remember Bob's spirit, and they also prepared a feast of his favorite food. Kelly claimed that she believed Bob would have wanted her to be happy as well, but hearing that confirmation from his children is what really helped her to start moving forward. And after they gave her their blessing, she started opening her mind